Live only on his own. The Ring 6. Teofimo Lopez, the Brooklyn-born king of 140, looks to retain his world title as Shakur Stevenson steps up to become a 4-division world champion. Lopez versus Stevenson, January 31st. Click the link in the description to buy now.
It's Colin Guigan for IFLTV. Edward, we're here in Roxton Nation with your social stats in the background. Happy with your results?
Yeah, I mean, we call this, what do we call this? The engine room? What's the official? The blueprint. This is the blueprint room at Rock Nation. Obviously designed, much more importantly, for us to analyse our fighters and what they're doing, what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong, what we need to do. They just so happen to put up my little blueprint behind us. So good for the ego, you know. And listen, I like to bring you and Charles, who's sitting next to you, into these kind of facilities to show you how humble I am that I still even talk to you, quite frankly. Because now you're seeing the level that we're operating. I want you to know that I won't forget you guys. I started with you and I won't forget you. And that's because I'm a loyal guy. And that's very important.
Still not big in America, though.
Huge in America. They did one for you. They didn't need the whole screens. They just needed the corner of that screen over there. And it just had a thing. It said, no one's fucking interested. So,
yeah, kill me off in the first 90 seconds, great. And we last spoke in Vegas at the weekend. Just to recap on Andy Cruz's loss, and I believe that you've now tied him down to a long-term contract.
Yeah, we signed a new contract with Andy Cruz before the fight. I didn't want to announce it because I just thought timing wasn't really right. But we're looking forward to the future. I'm really proud of him. I mean, I know that after the fact, everyone says, was it a bit early? Was it not? As a team, me, Bozy, Andy, Yofri, Peter Khan, Greg Smith, like we all felt like it was the right time. He's had 5 10-round championship fights and 1 12-round fight. Never been the full 12. But, of course, he missed out on the 6s and 8-rounders. But Andy's, you know, he's a quality fighter. And I thought Roman Muay was brilliant. I loved the fight. I thought it was a really, really high-level, brilliant fight. Good for boxing. And I think sometimes when you lose in a fight like that, your stock continues to rise. And that's what I think happened. And I think the team want to look at potentially moving down to 130 pounds. And Andy will be back, and I'm 100% convinced he'll be a world champion.
In hindsight, was it maybe a little bit too much too soon for Andy?
Well, I just said that, if you listened. And some people will say that. Everybody's real smart after the fact, aren't they? No one really said, is it too soon? You know, sorry, no one really said, it's too soon. You know, there's always the question mark when you have 6 fights, of course. But when you've got the amateur pedigree that he had, and when you've got the ability that he had, do I think he could have won the fight with a little bit more experience? Yes, I do. But that wasn't the route that we wanted to take. Sometimes when you come over to this market, or any market, as an international fighter who doesn't speak English, you have to do something a little bit more special. And that's what he did. But I think people respect Andy for trying to do that. And I think, you know, the response we've had from the fight has been fantastic. So, you know, looking forward to the future.
Obviously, yeah. We've seen.
I'm worried about your energy today.
What do you? I've been up from 3 a.m. when I messaged you.
Why were you up at 3 a.m?
Working hard as usual. Yes, I was.
We were at the event last night. You didn't even interview me because you sulk. I don't like standing with all these other reporters. I like to have my own time with you.
There was music in the background.
Oh,
it just
terrible.
wasn't going to work.
Imagine
Parsons
that.
actually agreed at the
Really?
time. He probably shouldn't have done it.
Awful. Sorry about that party that we threw at the Ned in New York for you guys to drink free drinks and eat free food and interview all the fighters. But why? You know, I need to see your energy lifted. I just feel like, I don't know, you need to come with more game.
I disagree with you, but anyways, we'll move on before we get absolutely hammered again in the comments. But this is what you do: try and like change the subject around.
Change the subject. What, from Andy Cruz?
Well, in terms of, we're just about to talk about the Robert Garcia
Go on, then. What you got to say?
situation. So he had a little pop at you off the back of our interview. We done an interview where you stated that BAM's now exclusive with Matchroom again because you've matched rights.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I don't know the ins and outs of this contract situation. Robert Garcia has put out a kind of a video to say that within the first 30 days you didn't contact him about BAM Rodriguez. Would that be correct?
No, it's completely irrelevant. I don't know. We had an exclusive.
Did you see that interview? Or?
No, I haven't seen it. No, we had an exclusive negotiation period where he can't talk to anyone else before he talks to someone else to get the offer that he's happy with to present to us. So, no, we went back to him. I think our first proposal was in early January. He fought on November 27th. We don't have to do that, by the way. It's absolutely no bearing on the situation at all. But once that exclusive period runs out, he's then free to talk to other people. That's what he did. He had an offer that he said, this is an offer we're happy with. He texted me and he said in writing, we want to stay with you. I think he called me the greatest promoter in the world, so I appreciate that.
Bam or Robert?
Robert. And he said, all you have to do is match this offer and we're moving forward with Matchroom. And we matched the offer, and contractually that's all we have to do. So listen, it's a great position for Bam. You know, it's not one of those things where you just carry on and start asking every other Tom, Dick and Harry for an offer to keep going. The contractual the position is very clear. So he called me on Sunday or Monday and said, look, let's lock in a date for Bam. So that's what we're looking to do, end of April, early May.
So there's no more discrepancy over this contract situation?
I mean, for me, no, because we're absolutely rock solid on our contractual position. We've done everything right. And the last conversation I had with Robert, he asked me to secure a date in San Antonio. So unless he's, you know, the problem is with these situations, I know it's Robert, it's people who will try and interfere with the roadmap that we have and we have had with BAM for a long time. So it's really down to the manager. You know, I know Robert's got a number of fighters now with TKO. He's, you know, but he's got to look after the best interests of BAM, which I'm sure he'll do. And you know, we'll always follow our contracts. And we've done an amazing job for BAM and Robert Garcia. BAM's been amazing. It's been a great partnership, and we expect that to continue.
There's been another announcement this week of Diego Pacheco signing with Sheer Sports, I believe. Roberto Diaz. People were suggesting that he was going to explore the free agency. Is he now a free agent, or what's the contract?
No, Diego's contract's up in July or August, so he's got at least one more fight with us. Look, I think, you know, we're big on loyalty, right? But you can be loyal, but you also have to make sure that you are getting what you deserve, right? And you have to maximise your earnings in boxing. If you really trust and believe in someone and someone's really got your back, you got to know that they're going to do right for you. I mean, I've been here with multiple fighters before. Anthony Joshua is probably the best example. AJ knows that I will always have his back. And he had approaches, thousands of them, for his whole career. Every time he had to sign a new contract before he signed his exclusive lifetime career contract with us, people came in offering him crazy money, right? Those deals would have potentially completely derailed the career of Anthony Joshua. But he's smart and he believes in us and he knows that we have his best interests at heart and he knows that we're the best in the game. And that is why with those people, you know, and there's a few of them out there at the moment who are signed with me and that I work with, and obviously those of the past. You ain't ever got to worry about working with anyone else but me. I will go into bat with you every single time and I will have your back every single time. But I think fighters generally are very loyal, but it's the snakes around them that will try and convince them to do other things. Fighters just need to kind of sometimes trust their gut and their heart and know who's good and who's good for them and who's not good for them. But I never, you know, going to have sneaky conversations, like, I don't know. But with Diego, he has at least one fight left with us, and then it's up to him whether he signs a new contract. I've had Diego Pacheco since he was 17 years old. We've done, 25 fights? I've boxed him all over the world. I've done an amazing job. He's a great kid. If all of a sudden he goes, I want to go elsewhere, that's what it is. And we had a meeting with Sheer Sports on Saturday with Diego and Ken and Robert Diaz. We're going to present an offer to him. Obviously, he's under contract for another 6 or 7 months. So it's not like he can go out and talk to other people. But maybe he wants to do that. You know, my focus at the moment is on him winning the World Championship and fighting Hamza Sheeraz. We've got to, you know, decide what we're doing with that fight. But, you know, Diego's very important to us. You not just because of his ability and his position, but because of the fact that when I came into this market, Diego was one of the first fighters I signed. He was 17. Not a lot of people knew about Diego Pacheco. So I never want to lose a fighter. I want to always, especially fighters that I've worked with from the debut, I want to finish their career with Matchroom. And I want to allow us to achieve everything for them financially, and to me, sometimes even more importantly, everything from a legacy and world championship perspective.
In the scenario where you haven't got that matching rights that you did with BAM, how would you try and convince these type of fighters to maybe not sign with Zuffa? Because maybe that'll be something that Pacheco will explore. What would be
I think
the selling point for you to not
the fact that our track record is impeccable, the fact that we know the game inside out, the fact that we have 30 shows a year, the fact that we can move them and work, more importantly, with the governing bodies and allow them to win world championships, unify the division, become undisputed, and cement, like I said, that legacy, your light's gone out, within the sport, which you can't do at Zuffa. But maybe you just want a few quid. Everyone's different, Colm. Like, if you're chasing greatness and money and legacy, you can't really be with Zuffa, in my opinion. If you're chasing money, or you want a little bit more money, yeah, I mean, maybe that's right for you. But
does that change the landscape for you because you had to match a deal that potentially you wouldn't have went to for BAM?
Well, the deal that we matched was more than our offer. Yeah. So great for Robert and BAM. I mean, they did their job. Robert did his job. He went and got a great offer from Zuffa, and he got it matched by Matchroom. Great management, you know. I mean, that's, you know, he followed the contract, and that was it. So you just have to be smart. What you can't do is you can't get in that position and then receive an offer that you have to match, which doesn't work for the business and isn't right. And go, yeah, I'll match it, just because you're scared about someone posting going, oh, Zuffa have signed a Matchroom fighter. That's not the way to operate a business. You've got to make the right decisions, but you've also got to protect your stable, right? Because we have, you know, in my opinion, the best broadcast contract in boxing that allows us to promote all over the world consistently in key markets. And what's important to that as well is our stable of fighters. Of course, me, the brand, everything that comes with it. But, you know, what you can't do is you can't just keep paying up in a world that's full of people that are prepared to lose 1s and 5s and 10 million a night to try and come into the sport of boxing. You have to sometimes be smart, swallow one. But in this instance, for example, we had a situation where we were happy to match, and we did.
Would you say there's no global ambition from Zuffa then?
No, I think there is, but I think it will take time. I mean, look, at the moment, they did one show at the Apex, and, you know, it is what it is. I think they've got a long way to go. I don't think they really know what they're doing yet in terms of a clear path and blueprint as to the governing bodies, the league. It's what we said to you the other day, you know, it's a league. When's the league start? What is the league? What is it at the moment? Just fights. You know? So, but again, this isn't like, you know, look, sometimes the competition you kind of look at and it doesn't really, it puts no fear into you, right? Because you know you're a million times better than these people. You know they've just got no game. And you know it's a piece of piss. But that's not the case with Zuffa. You know they're a serious company. They've got some very smart people behind it. And they will be a threat, but they're a different kind of threat because they're trying to do something completely different to what we're trying to do. So, do you understand? It's an interesting moment for boxing. And boxing's so weird. You know what I was thinking the other day? I was thinking to myself, how crazy is it that Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez are making 10 times more than Paddy Pimblett and Justin Gaethje made last Saturday? They took $11 million on the gate for Gaethje against Pimblett. Paramount probably paid or an allocation of $30 to $40 million on that show, plus sponsorship. You're talking about $50 million worth of revenue. And Paddy Pimblett and Justin Gaethje, I don't think, I mean, judging by what Ariel said in our interview yesterday, they even made $1 million. What a business. I mean, don't get me wrong. People think that's wrong. That's the structure. But these guys are making a fortune. And I think it's going to be interesting to see how those UFC guys look at it and go, like, Jai Pacheco is making more than Paddy Pimblett and Justin Gaethje. Like.
But then does that change for you? Because right now, Turkey and you're working together, right? He's already signed this deal with Zuffa where he's on board with them.
We don't know.
Yeah, so there comes a point when potentially Matchroom and Turkey are no longer. Does that then affect your business model because all these fighters are expecting to be paid more?
Before Turkey come along, we were huge.
You weren't paying the what you were paying now. That's the difference.
I don't think there's a massive difference in the purses. It's just that if you fight on a Riyadh season or a ring card, you get a huge premium. So, but not everybody.
How do you keep the fighters happy that maybe aren't getting those opportunities then?
By paying them a lot of money and giving them a plan and being consistent with them and giving them a schedule. Listen, and also having that relationship at the moment where if there's a Riyadh season, I don't believe that Turkey's going to stop working with other promoters, honestly, because there's too many fighters that he wants to work with that aren't and won't be with TKO and Zuffa. So, and I'm chilled. Like, I love working with Turkey. It's not even the money. I just think he's hilarious. I mean, he phoned me the other night. Where was I? I was the Andy Cruz fight. And Douglas called me. Was it Douglas or Mohammed? I can't remember. No, it was Mohammed. And he went, "Hello, Eddie, how are you?" He's a lovely guy. I love talking to him. And I went, "Yeah, really good." He said, "I'm sitting here with the boss. He's watching the fight." I said, "Oh, good." He said, "He has a message for you." I said, "What's that?" He said, "Fuck you." And said, "Brilliant. See you in a couple of days." And that was it. Like, the guy's but he's super smart. He's massively passionate about boxing. Look, he's made an investment in the darts with the events. He's made an investment with the snooker with the events. We've built an academy at Boulevard City for snooker. So it's been massive for our business, and we've delivered. Look at Saturday night. We're the promoter for these upcoming ring cards. Sold out, Madison Square Garden. No one does it better. So we're in a great position. If that ever dries up, no problem.
I noticed you say on a DAZN interview last night, Rick Reno, you were like joking around and you said like, "I know what you're trying to do," and I think it's went viral. There's a clip where you say like, "I know what you're trying to do." But people maybe will read into that and think that there is maybe a different angle that they're going down to try and poach fighters. And
there's guys that have been working with Turkey that now work for the Ring magazine. Now work for TKO. So those guys, it's all a game, Cole. Do you know what I mean? It's nothing new in boxing, but it's not really Rick Reno. Look, I like Rick. I think people think that me and Rick are always beefing. We're not. We actually get on really well. I think he's another great character, hilarious. I was talking last night. What I thought was more amusing was that Rick Reno is now doing the face-offs for Zuffa boxing. Do you see him with Mikalayan and Jai Pacheco? And I know Dana White and Nick Khan are going, "What the fuck?" You've got Rick Reno out the back, with no backdrop, going with his Versace glasses. "Come on, guys, come in here." And TKO are probably going, "What is going on here?" But where I've been around it for so long, I just accept it. People message me and go, "Who on earth is that geezer sitting next to you or in the ring?" I go, "Oh, that's Rick Reno." "Who's that guy?" I said, "Oh, he works with a ring mag," and they don't understand the whole circus of what this game is. But that's what makes it the game. And there's nothing like it.
One of the things I took away from the Zuffa fight was whenever I spoke to fighters, they said that it was so different to any other promotion because there's no real B-side. And I wondered if maybe you would go down that route of so for example, they have the Performance Institute, all the fighters go there, they have all their meals done for them 6 weeks before. They have all their training scheduled, they have any massages they want. Do you ever maybe take things from other people and would you ever go down that route of maybe doing a matchroom type of institute?
That's what their argument will be with UFC. So they'll say, those guys are paid much less than fighters. Oh, but they can use the gym. And we give you a few meals. I think their institute is incredible. I mean, I would love to have an institute like that. We actually had a big meeting with some guys in Vegas where we're actually going to be working alongside a facility that I think is better than the UFC, not quite as big, and it won't be owned by Matchroom, but it will give our elite fighters an opportunity to do that. So you have to keep evolving in that respect. I think when you sign for Zuffa, you have to wear Zuffa shorts and Zuffa t-shirts and Zuffa pants.
Did you ever go down that route or not?
I think it's fucking embarrassing. I'll be honest with you. Boxing is about allowing you to create a narrative for the individual to identify as themselves and as their brand. The last thing I will ever do is take away the opportunity for a fighter to express themselves in their robe, in their gown, with their gloves, with their pants, whatever. This isn't a control center where it's like, hi mate, you're signing with me, you have to wear this. No. I look forward to seeing what the outfit is that a fighter's designed. That's part of their identity. That's part of their narrative. You think I go up to people like Ben Whittaker and Conor Benn and go, mate, you got to wear these pants. You got to wear, but those, no disrespect, but the level of fighters that they're recruiting for their standard Zuffa shows, they're getting free tracksuits, and the training team are getting tracksuits on their bed, and they're like, fucking hell, we've got a tracksuit. It's like, okay, if you want a tracksuit, we'll get you a tracksuit, but that's not, it's not a gift. That's saying that's your uniform, mate. So when you sign this 34-page contract, you do as you're told. And some people will abide by that, and the UFC fighters have been abiding by that for years. And if they're happy, they're happy. So it's going to be interesting.
Fury Makhmudov announced today on Netflix.
Cause an upset.
So a lot of people are saying, are you the lead promoter for that event?
No. We are essentially the co-promoter of Makhmudov, because we had an option on him moving forward with Eye of the Tiger. So we were...
Will you have fighters on the undercard?
It's a Netflix card, so we'll only have fighters on the undercard if it's approved by DAZN. There are a couple of fighters that we've been approached about to go on that card, which we'll talk to DAZN about. Brilliant. Great to have Fury back. Fantastic. Decent fight. I think he beats Makhmudov, but I think Makhmudov's he's a great fighter, and I know he'll be coming for the upset. So, like I said, I think Fury's the favourite, of course, and maybe he beats him, but Makhmudov can whack. And if Fury's not quite the races, good fight.
What's it say for DAZN that the two biggest stars to say on DAZN, in Fury and Joshua, have both fought on Netflix within 6 months of each other and not on DAZN? Is that a worrying time for DAZN?
No, I think it's a great time for DAZN. I mean, Anthony Joshua is exclusive to DAZN. DAZN chose to allow him to take that fight on Netflix. And look at him now. He's the biggest star in the sport. So I think it's smart business. And again, this comes back to what I said before. You can't let it be all about ego and just go, no way, shut it down. You've got to open your eyes to the bigger picture. And DAZN is so smart. Fury's never had a contract with DAZN. Fury has not got a contract with Queensbury to go on DAZN as part of their deal. So that's not an issue. With AJ, DAZN was super smart. Obviously, financially, it worked for them as well. But what they said was, do you know what? Right now, AJ hasn't boxed for a year. Maybe his profile's not what it could be. Let him take this fight. He explodes as the biggest star in sport. And we have exclusivity with him moving forward. So, again, that's smart without using ego and emotion to make a decision.
Last one, because I know we're pushed for time. Can you look down that camera and tell the people why they should subscribe to DAZN this weekend for Teofimo against Shakur?
Why'd you ask me to do this? What do you think I am? Some kind of performing seal? Sometimes you have to have the energy for that. And if you really want me to do it, what I would say to you is, listen, why the fuck haven't you already subscribed to DAZN? It's the global home of boxing. There ain't a big fight night that isn't even on the platform. But if you don't want to take my advice, take it this Saturday, a double header. I'm going to talk firstly about our show in Newcastle, because there hasn't been a World Championship fight for 10 years in the Northeast. We got the boy, Josh Pretty Boy Kelly, taking on the absolute monster, Bakram Mertzalayev, for the IBF 154-pound world title. This would be one of the biggest wins from a British fighter, potentially of all time. Massive, massive fight. On the undercard, Josh Padley goes for the European title. The biggest puncher in women's boxing, Elif Turhan, she's in action defending her world title, and the future of heavyweight boxing, Leo Atang, much, much more. That's before we even go to a sold-out mecca of boxing, Madison Square Garden, for the big one. Shakur Stevenson looking to become one-time, two-time, three-time, 4-time world champion by taking on Teofimo Lopez, the former undisputed lightweight champion, the current 140-pound WBO world champion. This is the best v the best in the prime. We got Brooklyn, we got Newark, we got a sold-out MSG, and the undercard is one of incredible quality. Let me tell you about Keyshawn Davis returning to action, taking on Jermaine Ortiz. This is not an easy fight. But if you don't like that, what about Bruce Carrington, Shushu, challenging for the World Championship against Carlos Castro? Or Amo Williams going for the World Championship against Carlos Adames. Jarrell Miller back as well. We've got absolutely everything. And Saturday night is what it's all about. It's what we do. World Championship doubleheader, live and exclusive on the global home of boxing, DAZN. And I did that with a flat battery because I'm the fucking man.
Live only on DAZN, the Ring 6, Teofimo Lopez, the Brooklyn-born king of 140, looks to retain his world title as Shakur Stevenson steps up to become a 4-division world champion. Lopez versus Stevenson, January 31st. Click the link in the description to buy now.